So, you might be wondering, should I be saving my files as WAV format or MP3 or something else entirely? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today on Speak Easy. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anna. If this is the first time we are meeting, I am, like you, a freelance voiceover trying to grow her business. And the goal of my channel is simple, just me sharing some tips and tricks that I have learned from the industry and also answering your questions that you send my way, like this one from Dear Me. Actually, is going to be the second part of her question because we already tackled the first one, and I'm going to link it up here if you want to check that out as well. So before we proceed to the second part of Dear Me's question, let me just ask you to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed to it yet. And if you find this video particularly helpful along the way, you might want to like this video and share it with your friends as well. So on we go to the second part of Dear Me's question, which is also wondering if there's an industry standard file type you should have your recording in, unless otherwise stated by the client. Thanks again for sharing your expertise and experience. Well, first of all, you are so welcome. And thank you for sending in such an excellent question. You're talking about how or in what format should you be saving your audio files in? Okay, so first of all, let's break it down. An audio file format, when you hear that word, it just means how your audio is stored. So then the question is, how will you store it in digital audio format into your computer? And in what format are you going to send it to your client? So whether you're narrating an audiobook or recording a commercial or maybe an IVR, it's just as simple as in what format will you store this digital audio file in? What are the common audio file formats? For me, I just deal with MP3 and WAV format, but I know there's also AIFF, and there's another one. It's FLAC, but I don't want to talk about that because I don't usually store my files in that format. Usually it's just WAV or MP3 for me. And I think that's how it is for most voiceover talents as well. So let's just define these two that are most commonly used by me and most of the voiceover people I know. So what are WAV files? Okay, to put it in the simplest way, WAV files, I think for me, is the more superior of the two because they are not compressed files and their quality is really top notch, and it is the gold standard for professionals. Okay, they're perfect for studio recordings like what voiceovers do, but because they are large files, they do tend to take up more space on your storage. Now, MP3, on the other hand, I'm sure when you're storing music or when you used to store music into your phone, it comes in MP3 format. So these are more compact and versatile, and they are really great for sharing your work. So, for example, for your auditions, so usually auditions can be recorded in MP3 and you can send it to your client or your potential clients, and it's easier for them to download it because it's a smaller file. Or if you want to share your voiceover to a friend and you want them to critique it, then you can send it in MP3 file because they won't do a lot of editing on it, or they won't at all. And some clients are actually okay with just MP3 files, even though they are lesser in quality and not as editable. Let's start with WAV files over MP3 files. For me, WAV files are the better quality of the two because WAV files keeps the original sound quality, like I've said before, and they are really great for professional work, especially if you know your client works for an agency or a production house, meaning they have their own sound engineer. That sound engineer will prefer it in WAV format because WAV files are also editable. They are easier to manipulate without losing the quality of the audio. And also, it's compatible. It works well with most devices and software. So it won't give your client a hard time when they need to manipulate the file. The disadvantage of a WAV file over MP3 for me would be the large size. For example, it's an audiobook and your client requires it to be in WAV format. That is going to eat up a lot of your storage space. And then there's also limited metadata in it. So it's not as good at storing extra info. Now, I want to talk about the advantages of MP3 over WAV. Like I said before, it's smaller in size, it's more compact. So it's not going to take a lot of storage in your computer. And, it's easier to share. It uploads easier, it downloads easier. So it won't give your client a hard time downloading it because it's a compressed file. Also, the widespread compatibility of the file. It works on almost any device or platform. So it's not going to give your client a hard time to listen to the file. Let's go with disadvantages of MP3 over WAV. I think it goes without saying the lower quality of the file because it will lose some of the audio quality because of the compression. So that is why sometimes the client will make sure that that I want this saved in WAV file, okay? Because I do not want to lose any quality in the audio. So that's the biggest disadvantage of it already. If your client doesn't really know the difference between MP3 and WAV file and they want the price to be a little less, they are okay with MP3 files, even though this format is less editable than the WAV file. So as you edit, as you do something to your file, the more it loses quality. So if I were you, I would actually suggest to the client to save it in WAV format so that they don't go back to you and say, how come this thing is losing quality every time I edit it? Well, because you asked for it in MP3. And then if they say, hey, I don't mind, then give them MP3. So just to answer your question, oh dear me, WAV is the best for top quality recordings and just to make sure that your industry standard. And, if you want to give your clients the best, then WAV format is the way to go because it doesn't lose quality, it's editable, it just takes up a lot of storage. But if your client doesn't really mind, you can send them the MP3 format, which is smaller in size and easier to upload and download, but the quality is really reduced. Just make sure you tell them that, okay? Just be open about it so they know what they are getting. It's really up to your client what format they will get from you, just as long as you ask, okay? So that rounds up Oh Dearie Me's two-part questions, and I just cannot thank you enough, Oh Dearie Me, for sending such an excellent one. It gave me two videos just to answer your questions, but really the honor is mine. Thank you for that. So now it's time for comment of the day. This is coming from Castro Julius Sidi 2387. That's my best guess, okay? It says, hi, Anna. I'm currently about to start my freelancing journey. Woo! For you. Thank you for the videos that you made. Really helped me out on starting. Thank you so much for your comment, Castro, Julius, Sidi2387. You made my day, and I hope I made your day by featuring your comment. So if you guys have any questions of your own, please do send it down on the comment section down below. And also you can send it on Instagram and on Facebook. And I promise to go through all of them. And you never know, your question might just be featured in the next Speakeasy live from the comments section. And again, thank you so much for your wonderful support. I truly, truly, truly appreciate every one of you for supporting this channel. And it's your support that makes it possible for me to churn out more content for voiceovers who are just starting out their freelance business or just, in general, starting out their freelance voiceover career. And I'm here to help. And with that, I'll wish you all a fantastic day and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.